Nigaz Team Mixtape 2013.
Yo, what's up? It's your boy, Evan Anthony here, Ill House Comedy Podcast. Back at it again, 30 seconds later, kind of like the last time I did this with Jess, because I turned the mic off because my damn cat was meowing as we started this last time. I started it over and I didn't turn the mic back on. How are you doing today, Jess?
Pretty good, pretty good. We're enjoying this quarantine life with some hard seltzer lemonade, and it's actually really nice with this 80-degree something weather.
By really nice, she means it's freaking delicious, okay?
Yeah.
It's the best salsa out there right now. The lemonade flavor. Truly's, sponsor me. And by sponsor, just like give me a coupon so I can get the stuff a little cheaper.
Yeah, we're like over to Coronas now. Too much Corona, no more Coronas.
There's way too much Corona. So basically on this podcast is I'm coming up with stuff that I think about and the way my brain thinks it works, and I'm going to throw it at her and see maybe she knows how it really works, and if she doesn't know, then she'll give me her idea how it works, and we can both be wrong.
What he's saying is I can be a smarty pants sometimes.
Definitely, 100%. You definitely, you steal brain cells from me sometimes when we're talking, because I'm trying to figure out what's going on.
What's that emoji?
Yeah. I would tweet her the emoji, or not tweet her, I'll text her the emoji when we're talking on the phone when she's getting like a little too deep into something, and I'm like, what the hell is going on? The big, like the emoji when the heads explode, and I just send that. I'm like, I don't know what's going on right now. All right, so can you please explain to me, is there a difference between being book smart and common sense smart? And I do realize the difference on an everyday level, but is there something actually going on in the brain? Is there different places where the book smart is, where the common sense is, or...
No, it's actually super interesting that you're saying that because they did some studies on this. So just because their parents that are geniuses, like doctors, scientists, whatever, doesn't mean that their kids are automatically like smart. So it could be that somebody really, technically, it just starts from really young, the way you learn and the way your parents or somebody else, taught you. If you start teaching your 3 or 4-year-old like how to read and get really interested in it, then they'll be smart. They did this with like some... I don't know what his profession was, but he started also with his daughter, and she like started skipping grades and everything. So just because your parents are genius doesn't mean you're a genius. So don't be a smart ass if your parents are doctors.
My question is though, in the brain itself, is there a different area where the common sense is and a different area where the book smart is, or is that all the same area?
You know what? I don't know if you can actually map that, but it's really more think about it, it's the timing. It's not really the part of the brain, it's the timing when you learn what. That's the most important part in life, so you can't miss it.
What about when, let's say, a parent is really, really active in trying to get their kid to learn, but their brain's not picking up?
Well, but that's like super clinical. I can't even...
Why do you think I got you on a podcast right now, okay? I'm looking for the clinical stuff, okay?
I'm like a general psychologist here. You're asking me like the clinical stuff, but no, you're right. That's like all... They do the MRIs and they do check all of that, but interesting that you're saying it because I know we talked about this before. You know how when you're like in your like 19, 20, 21, you still do like stupid shit. Like people tell you like, don't do that.
I gotta stop you off because I'm 43 and I'm still doing stupid shit, okay? So
maybe that blink of your brain didn't show, but technically really until your early 20s, you're like super impulsive and like you don't think and you just do what you feel. It's really because like that part of the brain is hasn't finished developing. So that's why, sometimes we got to give each other a break.
So, you know 2 different languages. You know how to speak English and German really good. Do you have to have a certain amount of, like, intelligence to do that? Like, or can someone, if they, say someone's not really that smart, but if they really tried, or is it something in the head?
Yeah, that actually is, yes. We're all actually born with the same set. Like, we're all the same when we're born. Doesn't matter if we're Chinese or German or American. That's actually super cool. So technically, we could all pronounce all of the same things that others pronounce. But they say by the time that you're 10, your brain knows all of the rules of a language you're speaking. So that's super interesting. Like my son, he's 7, going to be 8. So when we moved from Germany back to the States, he knew German better than English, but he understood English. So now when he speaks German, we speak German at the house like all day. He uses American grammar, and that's because he's not 10 yet. So he's using the grammar he uses in school, which is now English. So his brain thinks in English, but he speaks German. And then you have that small error until you're 12 to actually learn the language. So anything after that, your brain forgets how to pronounce. Like, you can hear like a little accent when they speak, but it's not that bad, I hope. And but some people really can't pronounce certain sounds because that really shuts off. So it's really like a small margin between 10 and 12. And then, I mean, you can learn it, but then, yeah, it depends on if you're more left hemisphere or right hemisphere. Like,
All right, so on Twitter, people love to correct me when I spell something wrong or I use the wrong your, whatever. They love just tear me apart for that. Basically call me dumb, stupid. And my thing is, do people not realize that people that are not smart, is that any different? Like, you got high cholesterol, let's say. It's just something that's wrong in your body.
yeah.
But why is it okay to make fun of somebody just because they're not smart? Like, that's also, like, they're...
Yeah, it's not right, definitely. That's what you were saying, the street smart and the book smart. Like, if I could choose, I'd definitely choose the street smart because you can always read books and you can always go back to college and always learn and get interested in something. But, yeah, if you're just, like, book smart, there's no way. If you were, like, 43 and, like, you were, like, not out in life and now all of a sudden... Yeah, you wouldn't be able to survive. So I'd rather be street smart.
And 100%, I cannot learn another language. I'm going to tell you right now, I barely know all of English. So
I'll teach you.
Okay, what's going on in the brain? Let's say I'm driving to work in the morning, super tired, like just basically a zombie, getting in my truck because I have to go to work. And I'm driving down the road, and all of a sudden a song comes on that I love, and bam, my energy is on 10. What's going on in the head that changes that?
Yeah, good point. I think, I mean, actually what I think it is, I mean, this is my thoughts. You're like tired, you're thinking about work, it's something you don't really want to do. And we got the animals out today. We're at the zoo. You like don't want to go to work, so you wake up thinking, damn, I gotta go to work. So you're tired, but then the song comes on, and what happens? You relate that song to like moments and how that song made you feel in the past. So that's why you get the energy. So that's what they say. There's a little mind trick, coach trick here. And it is if you don't really want to do something, pair it with something that you like, or try to get another perspective versus saying, oh, damn, like I have to go to work 8 hours and do all this. It could be like, hey, today, in those 8 hours, I could change someone's life, or I could do something. If I was there, then, we got, I feel like Snow White today. We got all the animals.
I don't know if you guys are picking up all the animals that are in the background, and if you are, it's basically like they're bragging. They're like, look, we're still allowed outside. You guys are stuck in your house. Yeah. Who's the animals now? Okay, you're in the cages, stuck in the house. That's basically what's going on. They're shitting on us.
Yeah, right after your Tiger King podcast.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's all about memories. Memories, really big. Brain loves memories.
So I think it basically, like, it shows you how much everything is just mental.
Yeah.
Anything. You can get through anything. You can change. I mean, I've been depressed myself really bad before, but it's clearly just your mind, and you can change it. It's hard to do it. Trust me, I've been there. You can't just change it, but everything is just so mental.
No, that song.
It's
Mind
amazing.
playing tricks on you. It's like super old. But yeah, basically, it's a lot of stuff. Like you said, your mood changes right away, and that happens like somebody comes up, says something nice, or you see something nice, or you think of something really.
See, you always go to the nice stuff. You're like, oh, I wake up and I could change somebody's life, or somebody, and I'm just like, I'm not. No, that's not me.
Okay, you could just be like, bam, I'm gonna be #1 today because we're getting the sales up.
Or it's just a good ass song. It's like, damn, I love this song.
I love songs.
I just want to know what's going, like in my head, what the switches over. And I'm just like, holy crap! Now I'm wide awake right now.
Yeah, that basically is it.
I guess that's why most old alarm clocks you used to be able to set it so the music would come on. I never really thought about that.
Yeah, that actually is a nicer way. You're right. When the music used to come on, I used to have one of those too. I also had one of those where you almost get a heart attack. You know, the ones with the little like metal things on the side. Oh my god.
Why is it that you can wake up in the middle of the night, say like 3 in the morning, and feel completely fine? Like you can wake up and literally start your day right there. You're good. But when that alarm wakes you up, it's like chaos. And think about the old alarms that, burr, burr. Who decided those were a good way to wake us up? Why do you gotta wake up in a panic? It's like a crisis is happening when an alarm goes off. I don't understand why I use my phone now, and it's like really light, and it starts off slow. It's like, and it gets a little louder. But back in the day, it was just like, burr, burr. You just jump out of bed. You're like, what's going on?
Like people weren't motivated. They were like, had to get out of bed. I mean, it's like almost like hitting the snooze button. You know, once you hit it, you don't want to get up. So with that annoying sound, it like definitely get up. But now I forgot your question.
I think I forgot my own question, actually.
Oh, yeah. Waking up at 3 a.m. But because that's like your natural clock inside, like your inner one. So you wake up, you had enough rest for yourself because you go through the different stages in your sleep. If you're still in REM or whatever, you're like middle of a dream and the alarm clock goes on, your cycle is not over, so you're tired.
You told me something interesting a while back about the sleep, that different organs function at night. Can you explain a little bit of that? Because I'm just going to let you guys know, as she's explaining this, I'm going to get on my phone. I'm probably going to send her the emoji of the head blown up because I never heard this before, but it was interesting.
Yeah, that's actually what I thought you were getting at when you said 3 in the morning. I was like, bam, here we go. 3 in the morning, we're drinking seltzers now, which is not great because when we're talking about that topic, because in Chinese medicine, there's every 2 hours, the clock switches to different organs. So let's say you wake up between 1 and 3. Usually you wake up between 1 and 3 because you're freaking stressed because of something, you have anxiety or whatever. And that's why a lot of times when we wake up between 1 and 3 and we actually get up, we're like super irritated because that's like related to like our liver. So like your liver is like imbalanced. So if you also have been drinking alcohol and are stressed and going to bed and wake up between 1 and 3 every night or every other night, then you know why. Then like lay off the alcohol a little bit. And but then afterwards, you have like the lung, which is a lot of times has to do if you're like at 4, like depression, for example, or you lost someone and you're grieving when you wake up like 4.
So what exactly is going on? Like, each organ has its time it's waking up, or what exactly is happening?
This is the cycle that it goes through your body. Your inner organ cycle. I don't remember. It's really a long time ago. I kept like all of the essence from when I studied Chinese medicine, but that was something where I was like, yeah, I need to remember this, what time I wake up at night, because then I know what's maybe the imbalance in my body. Yeah, definitely. That helps. So if you constantly wake up at certain times, you should definitely Google the Chinese medicine organ clock and like find out what
that's pretty interesting, actually.
Yeah.
All right, so we were watching some Ozark.
Yes.
And remember when Wendy, she wanted to do something, and her husband was like, "No, we shouldn't do that because this is gonna happen. It's gonna
Spoiler alert.
Yeah, definitely." And of course, she went behind his back. She did it, and then pretty much what he said would happen happened, and now they're dealing with a massive amount of crap right now.
Yeah.
Here's my question, though.
Ooh.
As a girl, they had a talk after and said, you know, what happened, and they were like, she was mad about something. They were going back and forth, but he explained to her. He broke down everything, why she was wrong and how she was wrong, but she wasn't having it. She wasn't dealing with it. And I feel like women do that a lot. Women, you can, like, a guy will do something, and then a girl will turn around and do the same exact thing a couple days later, maybe a little different. And when you point it out and be like, hey, that's the same thing what you got mad at me for. But women will, like, you try to explain yourself out. Like, what do you guys do when you do that?
I think that's actually a good question. I think it really also depends on the communication style.
They got no communication.
Yeah, they really don't.
Communication
it's pretty
is bad.
She's just constantly getting in trouble. And I think she knows that she's just right. And, like, that's what she believes. She thinks she's doing it for the right reasons.
So she really thinks she's right? Even though he broke down, he, like, pretty much... He showed her, look, this is why you're wrong and you messed up, and she still was mad.
She kind of, like, once said something that she was, like, only, like, at home and sitting there, and she was, like, a mom, and she didn't have a purpose, and then she finally, like, found her purpose. So now she's, like, trying to be independent and, like, show that she's smart. So a lot of times, you know, people don't want to admit when they make mistakes or don't see it.
But admitting that you're wrong, I think, is way more smarter than trying to argue when we clearly just told you what was wrong about it.
That goes both ways, though. You know how many times I've, like, explained stuff? I'm like, you don't need to read between the freaking lines. I almost said the other F word. Not sure if it's this kind of episode. And I am clearly communicating.
And trust me, I do realize guys could probably do it. I'm just saying from what I've dealt with in my life and relationship, girls have always done that. They've always explained why it's okay, the reason why. Like, they did the same thing I did, but it's okay. And I don't know if they actually believe it or they're just so gun-ho to just like, hey, I'm just going to burn this bitch down. I'm going to stay with what I said. I'm right. And eventually he's just going to back away. He's going to be like, you know what? Okay.
Well, she knows that that's like, he's going to cave in. So you know your partner. They've been together for a really long time. And what I've seen with people, it really has to do a lot of times also with self-esteem. And you like want to be right and you believe it. And then you just shut out that that there is a compromise or in the middle. And I think a lot of times you think it's women because that's what you hear a lot.
That's what I deal with, so it's like,
or
of course. I mean, I haven't been dating any guys, so I don't know if they actually do this or not, so that's
sounds
why...
like a science experiment.
This sounds like a Tiger episode.
Yeah, Tiger King, yeah. Let's not go there.
Like. Okay. People with bad hearts.
Like legit bad hearts.
Legit bad hearts.
Yeah.
That if they get scared, like somebody scares the living shit out of them, with a bad heart, can you have a heart attack faster because of that?
I think, depends on what's wrong with the heart. If you, like, are...
So I always wonder that. If people have bad hearts and they get, like, play around, you scare the shit out of somebody, can they really have a heart attack faster just because their heart's bad? Is that how it works?
Well, I would think it depends on what leads to the heart attack. Well, some smart people school us on that, but I don't know if it's like, you know, when you said scaring the shit, that would make more sense, actually, because also in Chinese medicine, fear goes down. So when you're scared, you let loose, and that's how people either pee their pants or poop.
When they die.
Or when they're super scared. Yeah, the fear, like, really drops. It's like when you're, like, the most almost relaxed, like, instantly. So fear goes down, and that's why with the scared as shit versus, like, you almost gave me a heart attack. I think that's really because your heart just, like, starts pumping.
So do you think when somebody's scared and they shit themselves, do you think what's going on, whatever is inside that controls you from shitting yourself, they see the situation, they're like, fuck this, I'm out, and that thing just goes away, and it's like, okay, we're not holding this in anymore, and it's...
And it gives me two ideas. One is just let the luggage go, like, throw everything overboard so we're lighter. But, like, letting go is actually really the cue on that. You're really letting something go, and you're relaxing in that moment, yeah.
So would you say normally you're kind of a little bit stressed because you're containing your bowels most of the time, but then when something happens, you're not thinking about that anymore. You're off your job. You let it go. Boom.
Yeah, because then your energy, like your focus goes somewhere else. So that control here. Like,
so right now, I'm holding my poop in. Is that what you're telling me?
Well, your muscles are functioning correct, yeah. You're not, It's not like just opening. Let's keep it that way.
So my whole thing was, if somebody could have a heart attack just from getting scared because they have a bad heart, my whole thing would be, can you train yourself to not get scared so easy?
Yes, definitely.
How do you do that?
Yeah, but your fear is really just what you hear from what you're supposed to be scared of, the dark or like ghosts or you're skittish because someone's coming behind. It's usually from some kind of experience or somebody influencing you. And the only way to get over fear is to like face fear. So if you're kind of fearless, then, or I mean, a lot of times when you get scared, someone comes up behind you just because you were deep in thought. I mean, you can't really.
Oh, yeah, I do
but
that all the
everything
time.
else is usually, yeah, somebody told you that's something you should be scared of, or you had bad experience with something.
My go-to line every time somebody scares me, and it's always I'm in a deep thought. Like I'm in my own head, I'm in my own world. I'm working. Somebody comes up. My number one thing, I always I get scared. I turn around and I always say to the person, "Goddamn devil." It's instant. Like, I don't plan on saying it. It just comes out instantly every single time. Even if
That's
my
funny.
daughter scares me, it just comes out. I can't even help it.
I'm gonna have to listen up for that.
All right,
Yeah.
so let's get into some sex topics.
Ooh, juicy.
Most people would say if you have sex, like, right before you go to bed, you have an orgasm, great sex, you just sleep good. Mm-hmm. Is that actually true?
It's very interesting when you're saying that because it technically is true because if the hormones it releases, you get like the dopamine, the serotonin, like get excited, and the oxytocin flowing, so you get a nice like hormonal cocktail, and that relaxes you, and because you get relaxed, you like release stress and all kinds of things in your mind, and then you like relaxing, you can go to sleep, which is funny because for me. And that's why I did a lot of research. That's why it's funny that you're asking this. A lot of research because I tried to figure out why for me, when I have sex or have an orgasm, I usually sleep really bad. And I can't really figure it out. Like I'm restless or I just don't sleep through the night. And my thing is, I think it is kind of how when they tell you not to exercise before going to bed.
Did you read my book?
No.
Is that what you're doing? You're
I guess
reading
we're
my notes
syncing
right
here.
now?
Is that what your notes say?
Well, that's why I think it doesn't make sense, because when you're having sex, especially if an orgasm, your heart's racing, your blood's pumping, you're basically exercising.
Yeah.
They say you burn mad calories. So I don't understand why you would sleep so good.
Yeah, but that's really the hormonal cocktail. And that's why for some reason, like let's say we're talking about masturbation, for example.
Holla.
I'm like, I'm not really moving
Next
a lot.
topic. Definitely next time. She's totally... Now I think you're reading my damn book. Because that's the next damn topic, but you keep going.
Are you sure? I'm like, I'm not moving. So now my heart is like racing, kind of what you were saying, but it should only give me the hormonal cocktail, so why am I restless? But yeah, that's something to figure out.
So, speaking of masturbation, why is it, and I don't know if this is for everybody, but me, say I'm super horny, I masturbate. At the time, my mind is like, I feel like an animal. Like, I have to get this done. I'm so horny. It's just like, the feeling is so crazy.
Yeah.
As soon as I finish, it's the complete opposite. It's like, what is going on in the brain that's like, I'm so horny. And after I'm like, I want nothing to do with sex. Like, once I finish, if somebody wanted to come over, I would be like, no. I'm so disgusted. Like, what is going on in the head with that?
That sounds like a little bit two different things when you're saying you're thinking about something else or that you're like feeling like disgusted. But I mean, before your mind is like all about getting that sensation, that feeling, get that release, and that those hormones going. But it's the same for me. When I'm done, I'm like, okay, I'm done. Then my mind's like off. Then I don't know how long it will take, but we're talking about masturbation the same. So I'm like trying to release some energy and. Yeah, and then afterwards, I'm like, okay. Especially if it's one of those that are like 10
seconds.
seconds.
I'm not even okay, though. I'm to the point when I'm done, I'm just like, I'm almost disgusted. Like, I don't want nothing to do with sex. It goes from one level to next. I go from a animal so horny to once I finish, I'm like, sex. Like, just, I want nothing to do with it.
I should go invite somebody for that.
No, see, it doesn't happen. It doesn't happen with sex with a girl.
Oh, okay.
It's just usually like with a girl, of course. Like, I guess because the physical's there, the body's there,
the oxytocin's there.
Yeah, when I'm by myself, it's like, man, I go from one level to the next, and it's so crazy.
Maybe you should do the what do you call it, the stranger or something, when you use like your hand, other hand, or like numb your hand, like what is it?
I still don't think that's gonna help though. For one, I don't think I'm gonna be able to finish, and two, I think once, I don't know what it is. It's something in my head that's just.
Maybe you just feel really odd about that. You like did it yourself.
It could be uncomfortable. It's like, oh,
Yeah.
look at you. You're so disgusting.
Yeah, like, did I really have to do that? Sometimes, I don't feel like disgusted, but sometimes I'm like, okay, now the feeling's over, and now what, did I really have to do it now? Like, it felt great for, like, a second. That's what the difference between sex, too, like, coming during sex is, like, way more the experience, the person, like, everything that's around. But, like, masturbation really just is to get that release, so, I don't know.
You ever hear how, like, really powerful people, rich people, in charge bosses, love to, like, have a girl pretty much treat them like crap in a bedroom?
Yeah.
Why do that when, like, why doesn't that person just set up a camera, videotape themselves masturbate, and every time they feel like that urge of feeling, like, nasty, just watch themselves masturbate? Because I'd imagine that's the grossest thing for a dude. If you watch a guy masturbating, it's got to be weird and awkward.
I think that's like two different things, because when you're saying that, what you're saying about somebody being dominated by someone, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, but that's more really, if you have like, usually those are like high level stress jobs, or when somebody's in charge a lot, or if you're like a single parent and you're always in charge of things. And then you kind of get into the sex. You kind of don't want to be in charge. When you want like to experience the, I don't need to say what's going on, you lead the way. And then it, of course, goes to extremes, especially those that are extreme.
Yeah, they want to be like, they want to be treated really bad, though. Some of the high people.
That's just sick, though.
Yeah, so I'm saying, just videotape yourself masturbating, and when you got that feeling, just watch that, and I would imagine it's the same weird feeling you get.
That's not really just a feeling, I think. I think, like, they don't just want to feel, like, bad or disgusted. They really, really, it's a different sensation that you're feeling. So if somebody's, like, dominating you, like really, we're talking not, like, a little, like, flip me over or something. We're talking about, like, real dominating. I mean, that's being submissive versus disgusted. I think that's the major difference.
All right, so if you...
Different topic. Getting too hot here.
Yeah, the sex talk was getting crazy. So, if you live in America, would you say, like, you were born here, you live here, do you think you should know, like, the name of every state in America?
You know, there are a lot more states in America than there are in Germany, and for the longest, I always felt
So do you
dumb.
guys call it states over there, too?
Well, Bundesländer.
Like what?
But they're like states, like where I'm from is Bayern, which is, now here, see my accent coming through, which
So
is
is
Bavaria.
it states or cities, though?
No, states. They're states, yeah. So Bavaria, for example, it's like Texas. It's southern. It's conservative. It's the biggest state. It's independent, kind of like that. But and for the longest, I'd be like, in school they test us, and I'm like, oh, we only have. See, I don't even know how many now. See, that's pretty bad. I think like 10 only, or 12.
Oh,
Maybe
no,
I think
yeah,
it's like 12.
Really bad, okay?
But if I count them out, then I'll know.
You should know if you only have 10. I could
like
remember 10 states.
Bayern, Baden-Württemberg, Sachsen. Yeah, I think it's like 12. And we got like East State and Western, but I always felt like dumb not knowing it. But I don't know so many other things, but that's only because I'm not interested. But
yeah, but 10? You can't remember 10 states? That's bad.
But so I totally get it. I mean, we do like the puzzles, like with the big puzzle, like the states kind of know where which one is. I guess you should know. Yeah.
Well, no, you can't say that now because we have way more states. So and you can't even remember 10. My whole thing is I think a lot of people can't. You'd be surprised how many people can't call out all the states. But the whole thing is, why do we have to know about what does that benefit you? Yeah, I mean, you should be intelligent, but does that help you in your everyday life? Why take up? I feel like we only have a certain amount of storage space in our brain to remember stuff, and if stuff doesn't really help you, even though we should know it, I don't feel like I shouldn't.
That's what I mean. I mean, I'm like about to graduate from my master's, and I would think that I'm pretty smart, but
I feel like that was a humble brag right there. Because she was holding her Trulies in her hand with her pinky up as she was saying it. She's like, I'm graduating with my master's. I'm like, damn, I barely graduated high school.
But then there's still a lot of stuff I don't know. But so I think you don't need to know everything. I mean, if you wanted to maybe didn't have Google Maps and wanted to do a road trip around the
You don't
country.
need to know stuff, too. That's another thing. These phones... See, I'm dumb as hell. I mean...
Right, that's not right.
But I got a smartphone now, so it doesn't matter. Like, anything I can't figure out, my phone will figure out for me. So I'm good. I don't think we need to know. Plus, would you not say that we only have a limited amount of storage space in our memory?
Oh, definitely. Definitely. It also goes through different stages of memory. So some things that you only do once and it didn't have a purpose in your life, you're going to forget. Or if it didn't have, it's not within something interesting, something you had to learn, for example, or somebody told you something. If you can't tie it to anything, then you're going to forget it. But with more repetition, you're going to remember. But the more things you do, which for me, that happens a lot. Like, I've traveled and did a whole bunch of stuff before. There's some people like, hey, do you remember we did this? And I'm like, no. Definitely.
My short-term memory is terrible. I got, like, longer-term memory.
Yeah, me too.
Now, would you say you agree that there's only a certain amount of storage we got in our head?
Yeah.
So how much stuff is the schools cramming in our kids' heads that they really don't need, and they're taking up storage space?
Then let me rephrase it. It's not really taking up the storage space. Plus, if you're teaching general stuff, then the kid will know what they're interested in at some point. I definitely would say it sucks when you're doing your bachelor's. In the first 2 years of your bachelor's, you're only doing, like, stupid stuff has nothing to do. So that definitely makes no sense. But what you learn in school is going to help you figure out what you're good at. But then it's just going to erase it from your memory when you don't need it, which they're not 100% sure where some of the stuff goes. If you could technically still access it at some point.
Yeah, I've heard that before.
Yeah,
you can, actually, but...
So, where they get different, like, the magnetics or whatever, you got different methods.
And they say, like, sometimes when, like, you have a life-death experience, you start flashbacking, like, all your memory drive. Have you ever heard that before?
Heard it, but I don't know if that is a fact or a myth. Myth busting.
I mean, people say it, though. They say, like, man, this almost happened, and it's like, just stuff started running through my head. Like, your memory starts...
Could just be... Like, yeah, just regular memory, which, I mean, memory, a lot of it is also false memory, which, if we're talking about relationships, that's, like, super interesting. Because, so you know how sometimes you argue, like, that one time so-and-so, and that didn't really actually happen, but the person that's actually, like, really upset about it believes it actually happened that way. So that really is the thing. The person is not, like, making shit up. That's really what they remember from that moment on. So sometimes you just gotta cut a slack and just try to figure it out. But if someone's not cooperative, then that's not gonna do you any good either.
So how fascinating is the brain? Think about everything we have, all the computer stuff. It's all run by, like, programming and this and that, and then what's going on in that weird looking thing that's up there? How's that working?
Well, the brain is like, without the brain, we wouldn't have the technology. I mean, I am super fascinated by that, which is why I'm studying it, and behavior is, like, a big thing that I'm into. I always want to know why people do what, and, like, different personality types, why we behave in different situations. I mean, different parts of the brain, they're figuring out already, and there's so much more to learn. I mean, if you think about it, how long we've been smart in that way, there's still so much more to learn. Super fascinating.
I think we talked about this. Like, how... Once again, everything runs off electricity to move, but our bodies just move off blood and heart pumping, and I don't understand why more people are not confused about us just being alive. I love how everyone's just comfortable just because it is what it is and we're alive, that no one's like, how are we moving around? To me, I think about it all the time, it makes no sense to me.
I guess we are like a circuit if you think about it. You need the heart, you need to pump the blood in and out and go to different places. And that's always going. It's a volume and it's the speed, and it goes through your entire body. And then you have all the other organs working together like a functioning machine. Yeah, that's how machines are made.
But where's the energy coming from? Like, everything I know, phones, everything needs energy.
Food, sleep, sex.
Yes, sex kind of
pretty important.
I still feel like more people are not questioning why we're just walking around and it's just normal to do the normal stuff we do. We never have to plug in. just food keeps us going?
I wish we could just plug in, though. That would be so cool.
Would you be surprised in the next 20 years that happens if we don't all, croak from the coronavirus?
Maybe coronavirus will make us stronger. You never know at the end.
But eventually, I would imagine they're going to have something they're going to insert. I mean, eventually they're going to put stuff in our brains that we can pretty much see the internet in our brain. Would you say that's out of this?
I mean, could happen. Sounds kind of scary.
Elon Musk is working on this right now, guaranteed. He's quarantined, bored as hell. He's like, that's it. We're putting the internet in people's brains as we speak.
Imagine you get hacked. Holy crap.
Oh, that's a good thing, though, because if you're in a relationship,
Ooh.
you can cheat and be like, oh, I got hacked. I didn't really want to sleep with her.
Yeah, and then I have to put on my spyware and be like, I saw you. Everything's fine. You just deliberately did that.
As you're seeing it going down, you just hit a button and you're like, okay, you're getting chlamydia now. Clink! And it just uploads chlamydia.
Or just shut it down completely.
Speaking of chlamydia, do you know what animal has chlamydia?
Tell me about it. Which animal?
Koala bears.
Aw, it's so darn, a friend of mine, because he used to say, you know what, Jess, it would be so cool, in the next life, I just want to be a koala bear, he actually said, because he was like, all they do, they just eat eucalyptus, just chill all day, they're darn cute looking, so everybody just looks cute, how amazing would that be? And then they just have sex all day long, and then you ruined it for me.
And bam, of course.
There's always a catch.
It is a full circle, though. They have sex all day, and they all got chlamydia.
Yeah, we checked it. We fact-checked it. It said 100%.
For once, I was able to school you on something.
Damn, I was like, I finally found, my animal that I want to be.
The worst part is, when you school me, it's because you went to, college and school and stuff like that. When I school you, I guarantee I either heard that on my radio station, Billy Madison show, or a podcast. That's the only way I heard that. That's it.
No, that's good enough. That's still learning.
I still learned, yeah,
Doesn't mean you need to read the book to learn it.
All right, well, I think we're about done here. It's been fun.
Back to my truly.
Definitely. I got to go get another one. Thank you for joining me.
Yes, anytime.
Bye.
Bye.
Peace.